guys, it's Bia here and we're back with another video. Now I know my background is not the usual. Usually I'm over there with my beautiful mannequin and that's why I do my intro for my videos, but I lost my intro for some reason. So now you're gonna have to deal with my ugly face and my wonderful bushy eyebrows, which have not been done for like 4 months. I don't know how long I've been stuck in here without any care, but anyways, that's not the most important part of this video. So this is a subscriber request, and she asked me if I could make this dress. Okay, as you can see, it looks really nice, really classy, has really nice sleeves, and also I really like the color. So I've decided to make the dress. This is going to be a two-part video. So this video is going to be on how to make the patterns, and the next video is going to be how to make how to sew everything together, and also I will show you in the next video the final outcome. So things you need to take into consideration when making this is the fabric that I'm using in the video is not exactly the same as the one in the picture that you guys can see. It turned out to be a little bit thicker, so it didn't come out 100% as flowy as the dress in the picture, but that's fine. When you go and buy it, just make sure it's not. If I could show you guys an example, like this is really thick. What you guys should have is something a bit more, I don't want to say as light as my shirt, but I'm just saying something a bit more thin and flowy, and I don't know. Do you get what I mean? It's cotton, like it's cotton, but I'm pretty sure it has something else mixed with it, at least the one in the picture. Anyways, so make sure it's not too thick, because mine was a little too thick. Also, it makes it look nicer when it's thinner and it flows nicely. Second thing, I used I would say minimum, when you're buying fabric for this, get 2 meters minimum of fabric. Obviously this depends on how long you want your skirt to be and how big you are yourself or whoever you're making this for. But for me it was 2 meters, and I think maybe a little bit extra, but I had 1 meter left. I measured it. I bought 3 meters of the same fabric, and yeah, I had that kind of 1 meter left. So if you want to remake this, that is what I would suggest you guys do. I'm a UK size 8, so if that gives you any sort of clue as to how you can compare the size of who you're making this for to myself. And anything else? No, I would just say you need, obviously as always, your fabric, your pattern master, ruler, pencil, rubber, scissors, etc. You guys already know. Links are in the description for anything that you might need. I always keep them in the description, because especially I also keep the link to the pattern. So if you guys don't have the blocks, it is for a size 8 in UK size 8. You can always obviously change it as you wish, but it's just there if you guys don't have your own and you need one. Oh, there's someone outside. And you need to have one for yourself. You can just print it out. It's a PDF that I made with the exact same thing as the one I have, because it's from uni, and you guys can print it out in A4 pieces of paper, and then as obviously some of them need to be cut out into 3 different ones, you can just take them together and everything will be fine. So I think that's enough for this video, and I hope you guys enjoy. If you have any questions, don't forget to leave them in the comments, and yeah, let's get started. All right, first things first. I'm going to start by showing you guys the 3 different sections that I need to do. So one of them is the collar. Okay, this is something we're going to have to make and change around in the pattern. Second thing is going to be our sleeve. As you guys can see, it's a 3-part sleeve. And the last thing is going to be the skirt, which is probably the easiest thing out of all 3. And yeah, this is just a little picture if you guys want to use it as reference. So first thing you're going to do is start with the sleeve. I always find sleeves easiest. I don't know if it's because I've made so many videos on different sleeves, but anyways, it is what it is. So as always, I am putting down the pattern and I am going to trace it out. I always use things to weigh out down the pattern because I roll them up when I store them away, and it's always hard to keep them flat, so this is an easy way to do that. There might be something I can buy to help me keep them down, maybe some sort of weight. I need to check this on Amazon, but I'm sure there'll be something that can help me. So after tracing out everything, I even traced out the notches and the center, okay? And this is very important. So that we can, oops, and I ripped it. Great, wonderful. So, as I was saying, I am going to use my 1 meter ruler to do the middle of the arm. This is going to be helpful for later, okay? And I'm just going to cut it all the way around. The next thing is to figure out the distances between the different sections. Now I did make a mistake in this, which is, you see the middle part that is supposed to be big and puffy, okay? This section I should have made it longer so that it has more potential for puffiness, if that makes any sense, to make it look more like the one in the picture. Okay, as you guys can see, hers is much more puffier than the one I ended up making. So if for you guys to fix the mistake I made, just make it slightly longer. And also soon when I show you guys after how to make the other how to make it the puffiness, you guys need to make it more than I did, but I'll show you guys in a second. So as I'm showing you guys, I have sectioned this into 3 sections. The bottom is the one that's just going to be like around just below my elbow, and I measured everything, and I've decided to make it thinner because I've measured all the way around my arm, and obviously I don't want it to be loose, so that's why I was doing the whole line thing on the side, okay? And now I sectioned these 2 parts in half, these 2 top parts in half, okay? And that was where my mistake was. I should have done the center part at least 10 centimeters longer, to be honest, because it was way too short on my arm and it was not looking exactly like the picture, okay? So that line that I made there should not have been there. Sad times. Anyways, you live and you learn. So as you guys can see now, at this point I was going to measure the bottom section. Now this is the section that is just going below my elbow, and I measured it to be about 8 centimeters from what I remember. So these 8 centimeters were accurate, but as I said before, the center should be at least 5 to 10 centimeters longer than it was. Okay, I shouldn't have cut my sleeve so short. That was a bad idea. Okay, then I am using this measurement to make our new line. So this is our bottom line. Okay, that is fine. You guys can do that the same. 8 centimeters is actually a good measurement. Don't worry about any seams for now, or like any seam allowances, because we will cut these soon, and it will be fine. As you guys can see, I made the measurements to be 20, 12, and 8. I would say make 20, 22, and 8. That would make it way better. Unless your arms are really short, then that's a different story. Next step is going to be to make the section in the middle. Now, this step that I'm doing is correct. You should section it out, and then we're going to cut them out afterwards, okay? This is going to be used to spread the different sections equally and then create the puffiness. However, my suggestion to you is that you spread them more than I did, and this will allow you to have more puffiness in the sleeve, which is what is more like the picture, okay? So I'm just adjusting my strip at the bottom. Obviously this is going to be the tightest part of the sleeve, and it's where everything is going to be attached to at the end, okay? So I'm just going to cut out this mini triangle that we don't need, leave the top section because that's not changed, and leave the bottom. Now we're going to do the center. This is number 2. As you guys can see, I have part 1, part 2, part 3. So I'm just cutting it all the way to the edge, but we obviously don't cut it out or else it's going to make your life way more difficult than it should be. Okay, after you do this, you're going to spread. Now, see, as you can see, I only did this. I would say you guys should do twice as much as I did in terms of spreading. So make it into like a full circle. Trust me, guys, that's what you should be doing instead of what I did. Learn from my mistakes. So after spreading it, you are going to place this on a new piece of paper, and then you're going to tape it down. Okay, I always use this masking tape because it's much easier to take out and put things back. If you use a normal tape, it's going to end up ripping your paper and ruining things. So this is always much easier. After you tape it down, you should cut it loosely around, and then you're going to start doing some tracing. So first thing I would say is trace the outline of the new shape that you've created. And after doing the outline, I would suggest for you to start doing seam allowances. Now, I would suggest to do a 1 centimeter seam allowance all the way around, so that when you're sewing it, it's much easier and you have more space for mistakes. Because, you know, guys, it might look perfect what I do sometimes, but it always has a mistake somewhere. And, you know, it's fine, we're human, we all make mistakes. So, as I was saying, you do the tracing and then you make sure everything looks nice and neat. Okay, I'm just using my pattern master. This is why it's so important, because it's nice and curved. Okay, so you go all the way around and you do your seam allowance. As I said, make yours into a circle. Please don't make my mistake. And then cut it all the way around. Okay, once you're done, you are ready to do the same thing for the other ones and create a seam allowance. Now you have all your 3 sections with your notches on your top part, and that's it. The next step is going to be for us to do our bodice. So what you're going to do is, as always, you're going to trace out everything. I'm just trying to hold it down with my arms because, you know, it's very long to do everything with all the steps every time. That's not so bad. So then I'm going to cut it loosely, and I'm just going to draw out all the darts and everything that it includes. Okay, and notches. Don't forget notches, guys. If you don't have notches, you're bound to have some sort of mistake somewhere in the future. So, as I was saying, we need to make our neck looser so that we can add the ruffling afterwards. So I'm moving the dart from the shoulder into the neck so that it has still got a good fit, but we don't need to have any darts at all in our bodice when we make this. And I am doing this slashing method, okay, and I'm gonna just fold it over after cutting. So I cut the new line that I created, so I want it to go to your neck. Then you fold over the old dart so you can hide it essentially. Okay, and then you will place it on top of the old one, and now you can tape it down as if it never existed in the first place. Okay, so now you can see that we have a gap here, and this means now that our neckline is much bigger than it used to be, and that's perfect, and that is exactly what we want so that we can do the ruffling. As you guys can see, this is what I was explaining, but next thing is you guys don't need the bottom dart at all. You should just leave it, and if you want, you can even make your bodice straight down instead of making it have some sort of waist. Okay, instead of it going in, you can have it straight down, so when you put the belt around your dress later on, it has more of that ruffling effect around your waist, which is more appealing. Alright, so I'm just going to cut this out, and then the next thing is for us to do the skirt. So as always, as I said, you get your skirt, you get your paper, you weigh it down, and you start doing your tracing. Next is the cutting. So as again, you cut it loosely, and then you are going to find out where is the halfway point between the 2 edges of your paper, so of your skirt. Obviously at this point I had cut already out the the excess from the sides. So I measured the center so that I can then make a line going across the middle of this skirt. And this is because, again, we're going to do the slashing method, okay, so that we can turn this skirt that is essentially like a pencil skirt into something more like an A-line skirt, okay, as you guys saw in the picture and in the paper that I showed you from before. So the next step is to align your bodice with your skirt and basically tape them together. Now this was just for me to see how they are working together. Obviously you're going to have to adjust and open up the strip that you just drew. Okay, I'm just doing some adjustments to give it some waistline on the side. Okay, now I am going to cut through that line I was talking to you guys about, and I'm going to spread out the paper as before. Obviously, as I said before, the center front of your garment, which is on the video, is the top side of the paper, is the side that you want to keep flat, and then the other side, which is the one that's to the outside of your body, so to your side, okay, is the one that you can move around more. So I kept this one flat. As you can see, I'm aligning them, and then I'm just moving the other one. So you can open this as much as you want or as little as you want. From what it looks like in the video, I think it's like a 30-degree angle, but I mean, you guys can eye it as you can see in the video. Next thing was for me to roll out some more of the paper, and I am just going to show you guys that I measured it up to around my ankle. That's kind of what it looked like in the picture that the subscriber sent to me. So I measured it, and then I am going to just check. I'm pretty sure this was about 85 centimeters or 84 centimeters. I did it from about where my belly button is all the way to my ankle, because of the bodice that I have, I think it goes up to my belly button from what I've worked on before. And so from there I have to work the skirts, okay? Then using my 85 centimeter measurement, I just decided to trace the bottom so everything is flat, measure the 80 centimeters so that later I can line up the waist of the dress. Now, I did measure 85 centimeters, but then later on when I put it on, like when I was sewing it, I did realize that for me, at least from what I'm used to, I'm not used to wearing a skirt that's so long. So I cut it by about like 10 centimeters, and then that felt much more relaxed to me. So when you see the pictures of the dress I'm wearing in the end, don't think that this is how it's looking. If you actually use the 84 centimeters, it was much lower. I'm not used to wearing that kind of long skirt, but you're welcome to make it longer than the one I made or shorter than the one I made, okay? It's up to you. Okay, just measure it on yourself and see, okay, do you want actually 1 meter? That will go all the way to the floor. You can do that too. So back to the video, I was using a marker just to find out the middle, okay? I measured where the 80 centimeters was, and then I marked halfway through the paper, and that was about 50 centimeters because my paper is 1 meter. And I'm just using this to trace out the dress that I made. So the first template for the dress, okay, and this is just going to be a guideline for what it's going to be looking like in the future. Then I'm using the ruler just to straighten up. Obviously my paper has an edge there, I can't go further than that, so I just flattened it down a little bit. And after this I just traced out the bodice connected to the skirt, okay, so that later on we can have just one full dress. Obviously don't forget to mark your notches and everything. Of course, as always, I think I probably forgot the notch, but whatever. So as you guys can see, I just made the neckline slightly even bigger than before, because I know I will have to make the ruffling that I talked about from before, and I know I will have to have an extra fabric to do so. So now I am just going to cut it out loosely, because I know I'll have to leave a 1 centimeter allowance for later. So when you're doing this, guys, don't forget to take consideration into that. Now I am just folding in half through the line that I have drawn before, and this will allow me to easily just trace the other side of the dress so that everything looks the same. Okay, So now that I've done this, I can just start cutting it out so I can work with it much easier. I can flip it upside down, whatever. And now with some pins, I'm just going to secure the two sides of this paper together, okay? So that when I'm cutting, things don't move around, things don't change the position. So you don't need that many pins. It's just like simple securing, like it's nothing too technical. Doesn't matter really how many or where you put them, as long as everything is together. And after this, you can start to trace your paper. I just wanted to cut a bit closer to where the dress is, okay? As you guys can see, I'm still leaving, you can kind of see the line, so I'm leaving a little bit of space for that allowance, okay, for later on. All right, so, and I also gave myself a little bit of a waist. As I said before, again, you can just make it go flat down, and then the paper, the belt that you're making afterwards will be enough for you to do so, for you to just create that waistline that you want. Okay, so now that you have this done, you can start tracing out with your pen. As you can see, using this method is much easier, especially in the floor that I'm working in. My bedroom is full of carpet, so I can't really do much to change this. And it's the biggest area I have to work in big pieces like this. So as you guys can see, the marker works much easier than a pencil, which would just probably make holes in the thing. Anyways, so I have now made the beautiful seam allowances. Everything is perfect. As you guys can see, the only thing missing now is for us to start cutting it out. I have all the pieces ready. The back and the front are slightly different in terms of, I am not going to make a second piece just like this one. It's going to be a waste of paper. The only thing that changes is the armhole. So in the next video, when we're cutting the fabric, I will show you the difference that you guys have to make and how you can work around this. I am also not changing the depth of the neckline for the back because I know it's going to be fine. So yeah, let's get to it. Let's go to the next video. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and let's go.